Hi everybody. This month I am going to start a series that I'm going to call NikTips. It'll be tips from me, Nikia Carter, and a little bit about me. My name is Nikia Carter. I'm Director of Collaboration and Training for C3 Integrated Solutions in Arlington, Virginia. In the past, I was a CEO for a company called Carter McGowan Services, and I'm a Microsoft strategist, solutions developer, and trainer with specialties in Office 365, SharePoint, and related. Now here you can see a lot of my past experience and my street cred, as well as some of the roles that I take on in the community and some of the things that I've done according to some of my street cred. So what is a Nick tip? It's basically a best practice or maybe a tip that I have from my experience in the SharePoint space, in the Office 365 space, but also just in my overall IT experience that I found that could be helpful to a lot of people based on how to do something. It may also be an explanation about something that people have come to me and said is confusing, and then I come up with an explanation, and a lot of times they find that helpful. So if you have an idea for a tip that you would like me to record, let me know and I will get one together for you. So the tip for today's recording is going to be swapping out your SharePoint Classic homepage for the new modern homepage. So let me start with a classic team site. So I have the classic SharePoint homepage here. And what I normally do is I start off by going to pages, which would be my site pages. And then I go and I create a page. But before I do that, I normally just rename the actual home page to be old. Name it old home. Now when I do that, there's no home page now that is being pointed to. So if I go back to home here, you'll see that it goes to the default page, which isn't, it's like a page that doesn't really have anything on it. So I really need to have a page to replace this. So I go back to pages and I will create a new page. And the modern pages, they're actually called site pages, which is like, wow, really? Site pages after site pages? But like the site pages library, it's called site pages, and then site page. Anyway, Microsoft and their naming sometimes. But it's called a site page, and you click on that, and that gives you the modern page. And through the modern page, you got to give it a name first in order to be able to save it. So I'm just going to name this team site home. I normally name it after the home of the site that it's in. So say if it was a human resources site, then I would name it HR home or human resources home. If it was the site for a specific project, Project A, then it would be Project A home. That way when people go to this home page, when they go to the site, they automatically know where they are because it says it on the home page. It just makes things easier for them. So once I have a name for it, then I can publish the page. Before I do that, just to note the things that you can do on the modern homepage. You got a lot of things going on here. Some things are still in preview, like the Kindle Instant is still in preview. Stream and Twitter is still in preview. But you have some nice web parts, modern web parts that you can use, like Weather, Yammer, Power BI, being able to embed a Power app or a Microsoft form into a page. And my personal favorite, the Hero, because it looks very pretty. And then we can also change this background image by clicking on this. I can add any background image I want, or I can remove it altogether. But back to where I was going, so I'm going to publish the page. Now that the page is published, I go back to pages, and I'm going to rename the page and then replace the home page. I thought I clicked pages, but I guess I didn't click it like I meant it. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I have my new home team site home page, but I want it to be named home instead. That way in the URL, it looks like the normal home.aspx when people go to it. So now that I've renamed it home, then I go back to the menu and I make it the home page. Now for testing purposes, I make sure I click on home to make sure that the default page is now replaced by the new home page that I created. I'm a developer, so I'm very, I wouldn't say nervous, but I'm very cognizant about checking behind things and making sure that what I actually meant to do actually happened. So now I have my modern page is actually my home page, so it did replace it, so that's cool. Then I also do another couple of things. I modify the navigation. One, I take off pages because after this, nobody really needs to go to pages as end users. If they're another admin or a site owner, then they should know to go to site pages. If there is a page that you create that has something on it, like maybe a Power App or a Power BI chart or something like that, then you should actually add it to the left navigation. Don't just have your users going to pages. There's other pages there, like the news app will create pages. There may be pages that they don't really need to be messing around with. I would not have them go to the library. Now, if they find it in site contents, that's one thing. But having it there for easy access, you just don't want them clicking on stuff like that. The other thing that I normally do is I edit the home link here and I name it whatever the name of the site is again. That way, when they're clicking around in the site and they're not on the home page anymore and they might say, hey, I forgot where I was, because you could have several sites here if it's a hub site or even if it is a traditional site hierarchy with the subsites. You may have a bunch of sites up here or just links to other places, and they might forget where the heck they are. So it's best, I think, to name the page so that when they're looking around, that navigation will tell them where they are. And also, I usually rename this home to say whatever the main home page is named to, but won't do that today. Anyway, save. And now I have my new home page that I replaced with a modern home page from the classic home page. And I've modified my navigation so that pages isn't showing up there and so that people know where they are because the name of the site is in the left navigation, which follows them around everywhere. So if you have any questions or you have an idea for a tip that you would like me to go over in one of these recordings, please reach out. Let me know. Here is my information. So you can reach out to me on Twitter if you prefer, or on LinkedIn. Also feel free to connect with me or follow me on Twitter. Or you can reach out with just plain old via email. That will work too. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. I hope you found this helpful.